Alright, everyone. It's time for another Whack-a-Hovind, a proper Whack-a-Hovind this time, since this is a reaction to a Whack an Atheist episode, which was the original theme behind the Whack-a-Hovind series. I was planning on already doing this one when I skimmed a bit of it last night, but it was brought to my attention not only that Kent is a little more weird than normal in this one, but also that I was brought up more directly at the end of the video, and I've since skimmed through and found that section. And I thought, this would still be something to go through regardless, even with that advanced knowledge. Stick around for the end for I want to say special announcement. It's not really that special, but for a little bit extra from me. We'll just put it that way. But let's begin. Not that we want to.
Good evening, folks. Ken Hovind here in the crew at Dinosaur Adventureland in Lenox, Alabama. It is January 1st, starting a brand new year, 2025. We're glad you joined us.
And as always, I have to mention that this is the stream quality that was going straight to the software in question that they use, Restream, as opposed to anything on my end or, YouTube's end or whatever. It's just coming through potato quality. So, par for the course. It's just funny to bring up.
The folks who believe the Bible is true and evolution is the dumbest and most dangerous religion in the history of the world.
Yes, you say that every fucking day, Kent. I don't care.
I started off this brand new year in a very unusual way. Do you know what happened?
No, what?
I was in the hospital.
Oh,
Yeah, funny that when you're extremely ill, you will go on and seek medical attention from professionals, from scientists who you distrust and think are in some massive conspiracy, using medical science that is based effectively completely around principles of evolution. Really funny that you'll do that.
Woke up at 1 in the morning, just after midnight, my lip all swollen, a little red dot there. And I said, oh, brother. I looked all over. I went down to the hospital and to see if there was anything poisonous bit me or something. So 4 o'clock, they finally came back and said,
It would be venomous. Poisonous is something you eat that it puts toxins in you from the consumption of it. Venomous is something that would attack you in some capacity and inject those toxins into you. I'd expect a little better from a supposed doctor, Kent.
no, you're fine. Finally go to bed. So it's been a rough New Year's Day. Still don't know what happened. But they said I'm probably going to live till I die. So that's good. So all you
Ha ha, jokes aren't funny.
atheists, sorry, I didn't die for you last night. So anyway, Whack an Atheist. We are here January 1st.
This man's so full of himself he thinks we all seriously want him dead. No, Kent, we just won't care when you pass. It's just gonna be a, oh, that finally happened moment. And that's the extent of it. And then we'll go on and continue to do the other things that we enjoy in life. Because unlike you, we actually have multifaceted, very rich lives we all lead. You do this same shit over and over, day in, day out, for decades on end now. Except for that time you were, in federal prison. Can you tell I'm not in the mood for this bullshit today? I'm really not. So I'm going at this one with a little bit more directness and stoicism. Let's continue.
1st, 2025. I never thought I'd make it this far. The Bible says, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth.
And that means jack diddly shit.
Well, if that's true, that means God owns it.
And if it's not true, it means anything else in the universe doesn't really matter. Because it's evidently not true. And it's not evidently true. I got those backwards, but y'all know what I mean. It's like you look so smug, like, my book says a thing, Kent. Irrelevant. Lots of books say lots of things. You dismiss what a lot of other books say, even though what they say is based on actual evidence, actual processes, methodologies, and are written by people that we can meet today. We can talk to the very authors of those books, of the scientific papers in question, and you just scoff away and say, no, that's not true. But your magic book of bullshit here, just because it says it, it's got to be true. The double standard isn't even a standard for you since you have no standards. It's just something special.
And he makes the rules. And some people don't like his rules, so they deny he did it. You atheist?
Yes, that's totally why. It's not the fact that there's no fucking evidence for any of the crap you constantly tout, let alone even more moderate religious views. But I at least allow those and don't fault people for them when they clearly are a personal belief that they adhere to for their own betterment. As I've mentioned many times, I have many friends who are very, very strong in their religious convictions, and I love them. And that trait about them is something I value, and I wouldn't want to destroy that in them. Even though they know I'm atheist as fuck, and that I will say stuff that would probably upset them. They understand it's directed at a particular twisted version of theology that happens to be related to the faith that they hold, rather than to them directly. And they can understand that and can respect me as an individual for that. And that's beautiful. You speak of hatred disguised as love, of control disguised as free will, of slavery disguised as faith. And it's disgusting, Kent.
This is for all of you tonight. I want you to listen carefully. God created this world. This might
No,
be
he
your
didn't.
last year on this planet.
Oh well.
You might want to stop and really think about that. If you died today,
Already
where would
have.
you go?
In
The
the
Bible
ground,
says,
dumbass.
poverty and shame.
And yes, I just rambled over him. And my good mother stopping the video to cut every single thing. It's like he's just saying the same shit he always does. That's what makes him boring for the most part. You are the most boring person on the internet, Kent. And I can't believe I'm more entertaining than somebody. But apparently I am, because I've amassed a nice little following here. And I love these people who take time out of their day to watch, or at least listen, to me say what I have to say with regards to you, or other crazies out there, or just whatever. But let's continue, I'm just rambling. Which is part of why people tune in. You don't really tune into YouTube, but you know, I like the anachronism of it. Technically it's not an anachronism, it's just an outdated saying, but it's neither here nor there.
Shame shall be to him that refuseth instruction. Some people just refuse to listen. No,
Yeah, you're one of them.
nobody can tell them what to do. They refuse to listen. He that regardeth reproof shall be honored. If somebody reproves you and scolds you and says that's wrong, you should stop and think about it. And maybe they're right. You should correct something in your vocabulary or in your lifestyle or in.
Yes, and if they have good evidence for that, if I should maybe make sure to say etymology of a word instead of entomology. My ex-girlfriend had corrected me on that because I accidentally would say entomology instead of etymology. Etymology's a study of word origins. Entomology is a study of bugs. I kind of conflated the two. I had reason to be corrected, and evidence could show that the correction was justified. You just want to promote your magic fairy tale onto people by force if you could. At the very least by passive threats disguised as messages of love. Which is just outright sickening.
Something. Then it says, the desire accomplished is sweet to the soul. Do you know why some of you had a bad year last year? You're not accomplishing anything.
Really? What did you accomplish? What did you actually do through the year? Go on, Kent. Start bragging about all the bullshit you've done and start attacking everyone else for the ways they choose to live their lives, for what they find joy in. Go on, Kent. Start being the asshole we all know you are.
When you accomplish something, you can step back and say, wow, look, I built that. There's just something, a sense of accomplishment. There's no sweetness in some of your souls because.
Oh, yeah. You know, no sweetness in mine. I've ran a bulletin board system for 5+ years now. Doesn't get that much traction, but BBSs are a niche hobby. I run a image board. You know, if you think 4chan, but shrunk down, there you go. You've got an option to goof around that I provide. I've ran Zadara.com for 18, 19 years now. 18 years, definitely. 18 years come March. Yeah, my website, if it was a person, would legally become an adult this year. It's crazy. I've ran that. It used to be a community of awesome people, and then I changed my direction with it. Um, let's see what else. We'll get to what else because I don't want to jump too far ahead.
You don't accomplish anything. You sit and play video games for hours and hours and hours. When you're all done, then what?
Let's see. I have had a fun time. Depending on the game you play, you might be interacting with other people, socializing. Let's see what else. There's various achievement systems in most gaming software now. So you can show off accomplishments of I devoted time into this what amounts to a puzzle. Every video game is in a sense a puzzle. I have successfully accomplished completion of this puzzle. Here is an achievement. Here is a trophy. Here is an icon. Here is an emblem that says I did this, which to many of us has equal value to something physically tangible. Or hell, back in the 80s, Activision, if you sent a photo of meeting certain criteria in their games on the Atari, they would give you a fucking patch. They would recognize you. You get real shit just for being good at a game. And it was an accomplishment. And I still take pride. Not that I was around for that. I was born in '85, so I was after the game crash. So Activision was, in with the rest of the American video game industry at that point. But my point is, I still place value in accomplishing those feats, successfully completing those challenges in those classic games, because I see it as a place of honor to know that I have successfully reached an achievement that other famous gamers did before me. It makes me feel good. And isn't that all that matters at the core end? If it's not harming anybody and you find joy in it, is that not what we're here for? Oh no, wait, we're supposed to be slave to an egomaniac according to you. Also, that's going to be the thumbnail right there. I'm going to make sure that frame is. Um, anyway, I'm rambling on. It's just your hatred of video games is laughable, given your obsession with this ridiculous piece of fiction that you call the Bible. It's hilarious that you would knock creative entertainment made by hundreds of people into a package of computer entertainment, taking advantage of state-of-the-art technology to immerse someone into a world so they can have a little fun after work, after school, after whatever. Maybe, again, chat with some people since we have this wonderful network connectivity in every game now. Or sometimes it's a fucking nightmare, but that's not the point. The point is you wish to downplay everyone's hobbies and interests that you don't like because you're a bitter old piece of shit who is obsessed with one magic book of bullshit from 1611, no less. You have no life. You have no actual joy in your life. The only person bitter, evil, dark, sad, whatever word you want to use in this entire thing is you.
Where do all those video characters go? Do they go hide someplace? Do you get money for them?
Actually, you can. And also note that you brought up money, even though you act like you're not into anything for money. Yet you've just acknowledged that you value money, as if that might be an end goal for something. You know why I play Guild Wars, Kent? Because I enjoy it. I find the gameplay fun. I find the characters, the world, very interesting. I love the community around the game. I find great joy in working with people to accomplish tasks in the game. And sure, it's all in a virtual world. But the feelings, the emotion, the excitement are real. And that's what matters. What do you do every day that brings true joy into somebody's life? And I'm not talking magical happy thinking, where they're still addicted to crack or whatever, or they're fucking homeless staying at DAL, but hey, Jesus loves them, because Jesus isn't doing a goddamn thing to get them out of that shit. Seems like they always have to do all the work themselves. But maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's continue.
In the book of Nehemiah, they built the wall. It says, so built we the wall. And the wall was joined together into the half thereof, for the people had a mind to work.
All in all, you're just another brick in the wall.
Well, what's your mind set on? Some people's whole mindset is on not working.
Yeah, some people are fucking lazy. So what? Are you trying to equate that to gamers? Because there are lazy people who happen to be gamers out there. There's also lazy people who happen to be Christians. There's also lots of lazy people who happen to be preachers. They don't seem to do shit else except sit there on the pulpit every Sunday, Wednesday, and maybe some other day, spew their crap, and rake in bukus. Funny. They don't do shit else of value. CEOs are pretty fucking lazy. They don't do shit, and they make tons of money. But, and also, some people might not have the same set of skills that you would consider work. Whereas I, someone who values the creative arts, would see as contributing just as much to society as someone with a hammer. Maybe not in the same way. Certainly. There's a lot more practicality to someone who can help build something than to someone who, can make a beautiful painting. But they're still contributing to society because society's more than just hard work, labor, and the like. We're more than that as people. We want to enrich our lives, to stimulate all aspects of our brain, to find pleasure where we can. Again, in ways that don't cause harm, generally. That's the key thing. Trying to avoid causing harm to ourselves and others is generally the best thing. You can get into the nuance of defining harm. Y'all know what I mean. Y'all know where something is too much. And Kent's an example where too much religion has caused harm. Or was it the religion, Kent? Or are you just an asshole and you happen to use religion as a justification? Which one is it?
If they see somebody working, they sneak around and go the other way. We don't want to help, don't want to work. What are you doing with your life?
Okay, yeah, there's some lazy people out there, Kent. Good job.
What eternal things have you produced in your life? Produce is when somebody produces.
You act like there is an eternity, that this infinite quanta of time is actually a tangible, explicit thing. As if it's a location that things can go to, as opposed to just a concept of time that is endless.
Produces something. A farmer plants the seeds, the ground produces the fruit, and then he sells it. There are produce stores, okay? What do you produce that people buy? I tell the people here at the ministry here, what are you producing of any value? Everybody should produce something.
Yeah, but you wouldn't find value. You don't find... It's weird. You make fun of people playing video games who just that happens to be their way of entertaining themselves, as if you didn't grow up in the TV generation. You certainly went to the cinema when you were younger, right? Guarantee you, a little Kenty spent his allowance on a movie Saturday night, at least once. Kent, you're talking about people producing things. The people who produce interactive entertainment software, i.e. video games, did they not? I think I just used the word produce. The ones who created it, since we know they're created, unlike, the universe. They have produced something that has enriched other people's lives. That's another reason I really like Guild Wars and play it as I do, and am appreciative of it being something that exists and I'm fortunate enough to get to play, which I know sounds silly, but I truly do have a great love for that series of games. Because some really talented people created Guild Wars 1 and especially Guild Wars 2. They wrote the stories, they created the world, and I appreciate what they have created, their combined production. And the way I appreciate that is by playing the game, by talking about the game, and by occasionally, when I have the spare shekels, throwing some money their way for awesome items in the game. Infinite equipment, so cool to have. Volatile pickaxes, hell yeah. If you play Guild Wars 2, you know what I'm talking about with all the volatile equipment and volatile magic. All the mining equipment or harvesting equipment that gives you volatile magic. There. My point is, you don't value what they produce. You wouldn't value what an artist produces over certain old-fashioned hard work concepts and things made through that kind of manual labor aspect. But you sit here asking people what they've produced.
How many books have you written in your life? How many videos have you made to help other people?
My videos seem to provide a lot of help to other people by making them laugh. I've written plenty of informational pieces. You know, the world exists beyond books. My blog has damn near 2,000 articles on it. Most of them are kind of whatever. Some are entertainment, some are just whatever. Like a different kind of whatever. There's whatever, and then there's whatever. And then some are explicitly intended to be guides to assist people with things. Of course, you know, it just depends on if I'm skilled enough in that particular thing and find it something that I feel I can contribute to. But yeah, I've produced quite a bit of material for the rest of humanity to take what value from that they can find in it.
What have you produced? Or are you helping somebody else produce? That's just as important. You may not own the ground, own the seeds, but you can help the farmer plant the seeds. You don't have.
Or, unlike you, I can work an actual day job and contribute that way. Because I do work, Kent. I do real work, unlike you.
To own it and produce it yourself, but you can help somebody else. You're either producing something or you're helping somebody else who's producing something, or you're not going to have that sweetness in your soul. When you can say, man, I was part of the team and we.
Yes, but again, you would claim that someone who makes art is not producing anything and thus has no sweetness in their soul. You mock athletes. And while I'm not the biggest fan of sports, I can value many aspects of it, to the extent that you talking shit about athletes, especially given you were a tennis player, you know, the hypocrisy isn't lost on me. That's interesting. Because they produce entertainment for audiences who wish to view such, who place value in that, because they enjoy it. Why? Because their brains just happen to be wired in such a way that that gives them pleasure. And there is nothing wrong with that, because that's just how the world works. I may not like the amounts that, celebrities and, athletes and such get paid compared to, other job classes and the like out there, but that's a whole different discussion. The fact is, they are producing something. They are contributing to society. Whereas, last I checked, you committed tax fraud. Not helping society. That's a big L there, buddy.
We helped. We got that done. What are you producing? Think about it. What eternal things have you produced in your life? As I look back on my life 56 years ago, coming up, February 9th is when I gave my heart to the Lord.
Nothing is eternal, so this is an irrelevant concept.
1969. What have I produced with my life? I've so often said if I had it to do.
A lot of videos that got deleted when you lost your channel for medical misinformation. You're never going to get that time back. Or those subscribers you bought.
Do over again, I would. I'd do pretty much the same thing. You'd get people saved. Try to win people to the Lord. Produced all kinds of video series.
Yes, bragging so much about you trying to convince people to believe in your magic book of bullshit.
My special messages has one in here called How to Make Money and Spend It God's Way, where I cover the 4 different kinds of workers and the 4 different places you can spend your money, your time, your energy. We produce lots of videos. They're all up on our.
Are the kinds of workers not able to reproduce? Are they not able to bring forth, Kent? I thought that's what kind meant. So which kinds of workers are there? Oh wait, I'd have to buy your DVD to find out. You know, spend money for your product because you're not in it for money. So, you want me to pay for that. Does all of that $10 or whatever popped up on the screen for a microsecond go to you? Of course not. It has to cover some costs, but some portion of it goes into the church's coffers, right? And who effectively is that church? Oh, right, you.
Website, drdino.com. What have you produced? What did you produce last year in 2024?
Probably like 40 some odd videos, multiple articles, a ton at my day job, plenty of social interaction, and provided quite a bit of joy to a large number of people. I think I did a pretty good job there, in spite of everything I'm having to deal with in life. That I'm sure you would love to know about so you could try to just attack somebody for it. Because you're petty. Because you're a bitter old man who knows the Reaper's coming. But you put on that godly persona, as if that's going to absolve you from everything you've done through your life. You're a shitty person, and that's why people call you out. That's why people do the content they do on you. But oh wait, I'm burying the lead because he's gonna get into this stuff a little later. Also, I'm making this take forever, but whatever. We're going through this line by line if we have to, Kent.
Stop and think. It's the first of the year now. Let's be honest. What did you produce last year? 10,000 hours of video games and watching a bunch of grown men in tight pants fight over a ball?
Yes, talk shit about stuff. Also, your hints at homoeroticism inside of sports is funny because, I don't hear anybody, talking about that stuff, except people like you. And honestly, if you look into what athletes wear, it makes a lot of sense. Like the science behind sports, pretty amazing. The kinds of engineering and such that go into modern football equipment, for example. Wild stuff. I do find it interesting. And hell, I like the rules of the game. It's fun. It's a challenge. It satiates our competitive need without us actually attacking each other. That's one of the key aspects of sports. You, however, seem to think that magical commandments to kill one another from magic sky deity is a-okay. But, people competing non-violently is bad, okay? And again, as far as attacking the games and such, it's like how a person wants to spend their free time, completely irrelevant, Kent. Because I game, in my case, I game when I'm off work. As everyone I know who enjoys games does. Unless your work is gaming, no one's playing games at work. We carve out different segments of the day for our different hobbies and activities. Spending time with friends, spending time with family, sleep, eating, work, transit to and from work. Usually you gotta cut a bit out of the entertainment for the transit to and from work, but that's besides the point. You act like everyone just this is all they do. That all anyone of us that you're talking shit about does is sit around not do shit except games or waste time or something. You not only have no clue about the personal lives of so many of us out there, what our jobs may or may not be, how hard we work, how often we work, what have you, which certainly is none of your business. But for somebody whose entire day consists of running a cult compound, and the most strenuous thing you do every day, the thing you have to do every day, is this shit, these little fucking half-ass streams, where you spend half your time trying to talk about the Bible, then the other half going into your script about evolution's an evil religion. The fuck are you doing, Kent? Seriously, take a look in the mirror. Take a good, long look in the mirror. then reflect on the shit you do every day. I don't see you punching the clock, fucker.
Is that all you did? What did you make? What are your
More than you.
plans for producing something in 2025?
Continuing to rip into your ass for one, but also covering other bullshit as I see fit and providing more lighthearted videos on a variety of subjects that you wouldn't give a fuck about because you have no life.
Do you have any plans? What do you want to do? I've always tried to make it a goal. I want to learn more of the several languages I've been trying to study.
Oh, shut up, Kent. You barely speak English according to actual court records. Come the fuck on. You ain't gonna learn shit. Your brain lost its plasticity when you were still on the nipple.
It's kind of a strong word. Russian, Spanish, French, German. I took one.
Yeah, I'm sure with the way the Republicans are with Russia now, you would sure love to learn Russian.
1 year in French in high school. It took me further than I took it. But I'm not too old. I'll be 72 in a couple days. I want to learn another language this year. What are you producing? Can you play a musical instrument? Maybe.
Yes, Kent, I can. And I was waiting for this moment. This was the part I paused at as I watched last night and knew, yes, I definitely needed to make this. Alright, I am definitely not on mute. Let me just plug this in here. Let me turn the amp on. Settings should be good. Little feedback. Oh no, Kent, you tell me. If you know that song, you're fucking awesome, by the way. Yeah, Kent, I don't know. Shit. Little wrong there. Yeah, Kent, I think I can play an instrument. Or two. That's a skill you certainly don't have.
You ought to make that your goal. Do something. Something you could use. If you played a musical instrument, you could play in church or do songs. You could produce songs that would help people.
Yeah, it's always got to be about church with you. That's the kind of religious thinking that bothers me. Is that it takes over. That's the core of it that bothers me. Is that it takes over every aspect of your existence, to where all that matters is church, 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 temple, 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 whatever, whatever, whatever. Really, really takes the actual fun and value out of life. I learned this musical instrument and I'm going to play it for the church. Why? How about you play for yourself? How about you play for your friends? How about you do what you want to do? And if you do want to do it in the church, sure, whatever. But that's just it. You want to. But generally speaking, if someone finds value in what they do in and of itself, they're not going to want to do anything for those other reasons. I play because I enjoy the challenge and the end result. And yeah, I don't play well. My playing is sloppy, very Kurt Cobain-esque, if you will, minus the talent. But still. And that's just what I had handy at the moment. You know, my primary instrument is actually bass. And I want to learn more, want to have the opportunity to learn more. And, you know, we'll see what happens. It's more than you're doing.
What have you produced? Are you helping someone else produce something? I just think about it as a goal for this next year. There are 4 places you can spend your time, your energy, and your money. You can spend your time, energy, and money on things that last a few minutes. Food. You can. How many of you could spend $50 on one meal, going out to get a T-bone steak and everything else? You could spend $50 on one.
No, because I'm relatively frugal. I might go for something that might be towards the $30 mark, some very special case stuff. But that's going to be a big order, some particular stuff that's pretty normal by and by. It's not going to be steak. Just not a steak person. I don't think there's any food I like that's super expensive like that.
Meal, couldn't you? What do you have 6 hours later? Nothing.
you have maintained your life. And there's, I'm not going to say it now, but there is a key aspect of, I'm pretty sure all of this he's about to bring up, that he misses completely, and it shows how absolutely inept and empty his life is.
Lasted a few hours. Could you also make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and drink a glass of milk, and your meal might cost you maybe, $1, and 6 hours later, you're still hungry again.
Steak's going to provide a lot more value to you than peanut butter, jelly, and milk. Also, let's double check what you're eating every day, Kent.
What, do you spend all your time, energy, and money on things that are just going to last a few minutes? What's it
Again, the nutritional value from various food products will keep you alive, which is kind of a good thing.
cost to go see the stupid bowl? Anybody know? Or Super Bowl. To buy one ticket to get in, to buy your $20 hot dog and your $30 Coke, you could spend $1,000 on one game, couldn't you?
We're going to get to what he's missing on this.
Okay? What do you have the next day? Nothing. Memory. Is that where you spend?
Oh, you said the word. You said the word. Kent, what you're missing is the value in those memories, the value in those experiences, and the absolute joy that is living in the moment. Being able to escape normalcy and have that excitement in your life of something novel, something special, something unique. It's something most normal people crave. I quite value those experiences, as sadly limited as they are in my life. I greatly enjoy those moments where I can go do something special. I don't give a fuck about sports. In the grand scheme, I make this open, even though I can understand sports to a degree, and I can now understand people's love of the games. If someone was to ask me if I wanted to go with them to the Super Bowl, I'd go in an instant. I don't have the money to pay for my own ticket, that shit's expensive, but if somehow, someone was offering, I'd go for the experience. Would I spend the money to go? No. But all that means is that leaves a slot open for someone who does want to spend that money to have that experience. And if they have that much money to spend, I'm kind of, I have mixed feelings about people with large sums of money to be able to spend on relatively trivial things. I'll agree there's a triviality to watching a sporting event, certainly. But at the same rate, if it's something they place value in and they want to go and enjoy, then they should be able to go and enjoy it if they have the means. And if they live in the moment, they get to, go to the Super Bowl, they get to see a concert from a band they like, who knows what. Then, and they truly appreciate the moment, then that is what it's worth. That is the best thing of it. That's what the value is in that. You cannot comprehend this. You don't live in the moment. You live in some fantasy future where you're sucking off Magic Sky Daddy. That's all you're obsessed with. So much that the real world is nothing to you. You don't find any value in anything, and you're obviously fucking miserable for it. It's incredible how just bitter you are. Yet you want to call other people bitter. How much time of your life, how much time and total life you've wasted, but you want to claim other people are wasting their lives.
Your time, energy, and money on things that just last a few minutes, you're going to be real disappointed Judgment Day.
Oh yes, Magic Sky. Do I even need to say anything else on that? Magical thread of bullshit. Moving on.
God's going to say, look, I gave you these talents. You could have produced this, but instead, you wasted it.
Oh, okay. So now your deity is judging people based on how they lived, not just in a good or bad thing, but just whether they did things that are considered a waste of time according to your standards, conveniently according to your standards. No standards in your magic book of bullshit. I've never seen it say, thou shalt not play Fortnite more than 20 minutes per week, or some shit. It doesn't say anything like that. So what the fuck are you even talking about? This isn't any kind of theology. You're just being bitter about shit. And I know I've said that like a dozen times already, but that's all it is. You're just, being like, I gotta make it seem like God doesn't like, people playing games and stuff because I think it's stupid because I'm Ken Hovind and I have no fucking life. I don't know what fun is. All I do is argue on the internet all day, every day, and beg people for debates because no one actually pays attention to me except people already in my fucking cult. Give me more money. Buy my DVDs. Even though they're on motherfucking YouTube everywhere and archive.org and you don't have to spend a penny on any of my shit. Buy it anyway, so I can buy more Hawaiian shirts and more sex slaves for the dungeon.
You can spend your time, energy, and money on things that last a few years. Clothes, car, furniture. How many of you ever bought a car, drove it for a certain length of time, and sold it and lost money?
Wow, welcome to depreciation. Also, you had the transportation. So if you do the math, you can see how much transportation every day, for example, divide how long you had the vehicle, divide the depreciated value by how many days you had the vehicle before you sold it, and you can see what the depreciation was every day on that vehicle in effect when averaged out. And that depreciation value per day becomes effectively the cost of the ability to have that particular mode of transportation and whatever benefits or drawbacks it had. And that's a much more sensible way of looking at things because it shows where the value truly is in these things. It's not just I spent money on the car, it's in having that transportation method available right there ready to go. Some people don't have that, Kent. But expecting you to be understanding of different abilities that people may or may not have in life, of different social standings, situations that people may have or may not have, that's way too much because you don't give a fuck about anyone but yourself.
You sold it for less than you paid for it. Like every time, right?
Yes, that's how depreciation works. In other news, water makes things wet. There, I fixed the meme.
Clothes. If you spent, what's it cost to go buy a brand new outfit, brother? Somebody bought all my Hawaiian shirts for $quarter a piece. I got 50 of them, so I just rotate them throughout the year. What's a nice shirt, nice pair of pants, pair of shoes? What's that cost, or a good set? Can you?
I don't know.
30.
I buy my clothes at Goodwill.
Goodwill, okay.
Over $200.
So let's say you spend $200 on clothes. You wear that outfit for 4 or 5 times. Then I want you to sell it. What could you sell it for?
A lot less.
Yeah.
Why would you sell it? Why can't? Is that the only value things have to you? Is monetary value? Again, for someone who talks about, oh, money, love of money's bad, I'm not in it for the money. You sure are talking a lot about money and the perceived value in cash that things have. Nothing has any value to you outside of actual financial tangible assets. Money value. It can't be a case where spending money on this nice suit makes the person feel good. It makes them look at themselves and think, oh, I look pretty snazzy here. I feel better about myself. It doesn't, project more confidence and help them in their social life. Maybe, that outfit might make friends around them feel better because it's like, hey, I'm associated with the cool guy. That's a bit petty. Maybe it works out. Maybe someone is being petty and just wants to show up somebody else. You know what? That's their fucking prerogative. You should know a lot about prerogatives. Because every other video you do is everybody's talking all this stuff about me. Why don't they just let Ken Hovind live? You don't need permission. Make your own decisions. That's your prerogative. Can't believe I worked that in. Right, let's continue.
$10 in a yard sale, garage sale, right? Clothes are just simply not a good investment. Cars not a good investment. You got to.
Why is it all about investments with you? Again, Mr. I don't care about money. Talking a lot about investments.
I have one, but man, you don't have to spend $100,000 or $200,000. Furniture, not a good investment. You got to have some, but what are you spending your time, your energy, and your money on? Things that last.
How about whatever the fuck I want? And since I budget, which includes paying taxes, I find the money available to indulge in things that I might enjoy, to purchase things I might enjoy, to go out for services I might enjoy. Because I worked for that money. I spent energy, time and energy, for a tangible object or some sort of accounted for value that can be exchanged for someone else's time and energy, and thus they now have the benefit of those resources to do what they do, which is how our system works with, money. It came from bartering. We decided to create a token that represented value of things. And then we all agree, yeah, this is worth this. It's pretty cool. Kind of love that. Well, I hate everything about capitalism. Money, the way money exists, that's pretty cool. But hey, that's another video we could get into, because according to you, money doesn't exist in this country. Well, it's not legal currency. It's soft sit bullshit. That's all it is. But you're so judgmental for people just enjoying their lives. What the fuck is wrong with you? I hate to be this guy, but Kent, who pissed in your Cheerios?
A few years, or maybe things that last a lifetime. Education. I was at the hospital last night, and a doctor came to see me from Nigeria. He probably had to spend a bunch of money to get his doctor's degree.
Yeah, and he also probably worked hard for it, and his is probably real.
Some of you, you could go spend $50,000 going to college, learn what you need to earn a degree, and now that lasts you the rest of your life.
Yeah, and given the way things are now, again, speaking strictly for the US, college degrees don't really mean shit. It's kind of hard to get good jobs even with a degree, let alone a relatively decent one. There's a lot of other factors involved. But you act like just getting the piece of paper magically prints money. That's not how it works. And in fact, lots of people have judged that based on the likelihood of getting into careers with certain qualifications, they're not even worth it to try for. Because it's not a safe investment on their end. But you're valuing it as an investment. I guess you do value degrees as an investment, considering you've been writing your fake PhD for 30 years now. Not a doctor, Kent Hovind. Prisoner 06452-017. But we're not smart. All of us out here in the rest of the world are fucking idiots. You're the only one who knows anything about anything. Right.
A degree is a lifetime thing, or a skill. If you went to school to learn to be a mechanic, or
you can learn skills without needing to go to quote-unquote school for it. Now, depending on the skill, it may be a little questionable, but people can be self-taught. I haven't taken lessons for guitar. Some may want to make the joke it shows, and it's like, yeah, I'm self-taught. I've watched lessons, per se, the different things that just are little advice, ideas, whatever. But I've never taken proper courses on it. But I figured stuff out. I think, I can work my way through songs if I know the chords. I can fake it. I can come up with stuff that sounds pretty decent on my own. At least I think it does. I hadn't had any complaints. Maybe people are just being nice to me. I don't know. But, this idea, it's so weird. It's like your whole thing here is that you have to earn money and you must spend money to make more money. You're just thinking like fucking Donald Trump. You're thinking like a fucking businessman, but not a very good one. Because you're a pathetic con man in a shitty Hawaiian shirt, running a cult in bumfuck Alabama. Or you spend every Wednesday whacking off random guys.
Or carpenter or something like that, and you've now got a skill that'll last you a lifetime. Anything for your education is usually a much better investment.
Then why are you so fucking stupid?
Are you investing in that at all? Friends can last a lifetime. A house.
Or friends can completely betray you. Just like family can betray you. Or am I getting a little too personal there, Kent? How many of your friends from the early days of DAL are still around? Talk to your family much? Seen the grandkids recently? You ever keep in touch with your ex-wife Jo? How's she doing? Oh, right.
Some of you have rented a house for years. You're making somebody else a lot of money.
Kent, don't even talk from a motherfucker who's been given land and gets given money. You don't even begin to understand the way the housing market in the United States is, how fucked up it is, how greedy the owners of private property, the landlords, the mortgage companies, how fucking twisted they are, and their views on shit. You have to fight tooth and nail just to get housing in this country. It is easier to buy a gun in the United States than it is to get a place to live. And you think people, you're the classic, pull yourself up by your bootstraps and just buy a home. Good luck, Kent. Let's see you go try and buy one. I would love to see it. Seriously. Go buy a home, Kent. Just right now. Go fucking do it if it's so fucking easy. This it in the 50s, Gramps. Ma Bell ain't paying everybody's living wages to one guy working 35 hours a week. Ain't how it works anymore. And yeah, I'd love to go back in time and live in those days. I'd love to be working on number 5 crossbar and a Bell System switch somewhere. Go to the 4A in downtown Memphis. Work on that beauty. And I don't think any of my audience is going to know what I'm talking about. This is all old telephony, telephone switching stuff back in the day. The point is, I'd love to be able to do that and to have that experience and to be able to earn that kind of money. But that's not how the world works anymore. That's not how America works. Because corporate greed took over. The same corporations that you suck off are the leaders of such you suck off. Because you probably love Elon Musk as much as you... Except you complain about Neuralink, so I don't know. Sure as hell love Donnie Boy. One of the worst businessmen in history. I say that hyperbolically, I don't know. But I mean, he's a pretty shitty one. Just has too much money to fail. Which is a funny thing about this country. But that's getting into socioeconomics and politics, and I don't want to go there. Your idea that it's so easy to buy a house is ridiculous. Because banks are fighting tooth and nail to keep everyone out except those who have the most money to swing around. But if you just do these things, you'll have more money. No, Kent, that's not how it works. It's not how any of this works.
That's all you're doing.
I'd love to see him actually do a budget. To actually sit down with raw values of what people actually earn from a given job. Let him pick a job, in the area. And actually crunch the numbers and see if he could make it work. I'd love to see that.
Why don't you build your own? I was thinking about...
Build your own fucking home. Yeah, Kent. How much money does that actually take? To have all at once. What kind of loans would you need for that? You'd have to get the property first. You also have to get permits. Building permits. You have to get those, Kent. Then there's going to be taxes on that property. Oh, of course, you agree with property tax. But come on, Kent. This is the worst motivational speech on all of YouTube. This is just a fucking joke.
Renting a house when I first got married back in 1974, and my dad said,
Yeah, 50 fucking years ago, you dumb piece of shit.
I said, well, son, why don't you build one? Build one? He said, yeah. I said, I'll give you the lot if you'll build the house on it. Groveland, Illinois. Okay.
Okay. So you were given a lot of land. This is what's funny. All these stories always involve somebody being given some critical component to whatever their supposed goal is. To have a whole piece of the problem just cut out. Not have to worry about it. The fuck, Kent? Yeah, everyone's just giving everybody land. That's how it works. Come up to Memphis. Come buy some land in Shelby County. Just come try to do it. I'll wait.
And I built that house. Took 2 months. Time we broke ground till we moved in. I like to go fast and build. But a house can be a good
Citation needed.
investment.
Yeah, Kent, it can sure be a great investment because then you can sell it and scalp the next group of people for it with inflated property values. Or, this is something you probably wouldn't be opposed to, renting it out. Which is funny because you talk shit about people who rent, but you will sure as hell offer the advice of renting the property. Funny. It's almost as if the only thing that matters to you is money.
See, if you buy a house and fix it up, you might even make money. Probably aren't going to lose much money. But if you rent a house, you're going to lose every month. Every month.
Are you, Kent? Or do you have a place to live and you're able to survive comfortably? And maybe in the grand scheme, that's the best people can hope for. Because this isn't fucking Howdy Doody Andy Griffith. It's the real fucking world. And everything fucking sucks.
Tools. You can buy tools that'll last you a lifetime. Okay? Those are lifetime investments, but there's one more. You can spend your time, energy, and money on things that last forever. And that's where, as a young Christian a long time ago, I said, Lord,
Magic bullshit. We all knew it was coming. Also, demonstrate that a soul exists, you dinosaur piece of shit.
Lord, I want to invest in your kingdom. I want to seek first the kingdom of God and your righteousness, and all these things will be added. Boy, has that been true. Neil, how much stuff do we have here as far as in the shop and the tools and everything we need? And
All kinds of cool stuff I'd like to get.
Yep, that were all given to you for the most part, I'll bet. Or you used money that was given to you to barter and trade. I mean, you haven't actually earned money in for fucking ever. You don't do normal work, Kent. Everything's given to you. It's disgusting, really.
God just provides. We need something, somebody drives up in the driveway and they've got it. You know, here, Brother Hovind, I heard you need something like this. Okay.
Oh, yes. Magical thinking. Yeah, you don't have to work for anything. People just bring you shit. But talk again about how hard people have to work. Just go on again about people having to earn money and invest that money properly where you're just given things. What the fuck, Kent?
You seek first the kingdom. I was going to play this video tonight, Dr. Craig videos. I'm very impressed with what I've heard from him so far. He had one called Reason for Faith or something like that. I forget his website. Google Dr. William Lane Craig. Watch that video on your own. I just want to
William Lane Craig is a horse's ass.
challenge you this brand new year. Do something for God. He starts off using just philosophy. Say, look, if something exists.
Wow, philosophy. There's something really engaging. There's just the greatest subject of all. I'm totally enamored by philosophy. Tell me more random bullshit. Just keep on overthinking everything. I can't fucking stand philosophy. Ironically, there are philosophical discussions I do enjoy, but generally speaking, the moment you get into theology, the moment you have to jump to philosophy, is the moment everything falls apart. Because at that point, it becomes bullshit because you're basically admitting that nothing is self-evident. That nothing is, explicitly verifiable. So fuck it.
It had to have a beginning. Okay? The universe exists. It had a beginning.
Wow, Kalam. No one cares.
Well, what was before that? You atheists don't know.
God exists. It had to have a beginning. What was before that? You dumbass creationists don't know.
You don't even have a good theory. If time is eternal, then you could never reach where we are today, because you'd have to keep going back, infinite regress.
Not how time works, dumbass.
Time had a beginning.
If the world was just a perfect sphere and you could just walk around it, that's eternal. You keep on looping around. You don't reach a wall, but you're always where you are. Why? Because that's where you are. If time was eternal and we are when we are, then the reason we're when we are is because we're when we are. And the infinite regress is kind of irrelevant. I know it's a little bit much to think about because true infinities are something our brains can't quite grasp. But that's one of my key facets of all this discussion, of this entire subject, is that a lot of stuff that is so focused on is really, honestly, irrelevant. But you guys gotta focus on the irrelevancy of on the most irrelevant things, because in the grand scheme, if your ideas were to just disappear from the world, it would demonstrate how truly irrelevant they are.
Space had a beginning. Matter had a beginning. My Bible answers that in 10 words. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Just like that. I've chosen to...
Well, Ryan Daniel commenting on Kent's video, if you're amazed every time you visit DAL, for fuck's sake, don't go to a place that actually has any kind of real information, real science, or anything awesome like, going north in Alabama to the U.S. Space and Rocket Center and seeing a motherfucking A-12 out front. The SR-71's older sister. The plane that outperformed the SR-71, but officially can't be recognized for that because it was a CIA project and so no records were taken during its flight time. That'll blow your fucking mind. Versus Kent's vacuum cleaner on a hose and his pictures of Hitler at the coffee machine.
Believe that. Have you? January 1st, why don't you make it a goal today? Say, during this year, I'm going to produce something for the Lord.
No, I'm going to keep doing whatever the fuck I want. I'm going to produce it for people who are real, for creatures that are real, that matter. I'm going to play with the cats. I'm going to make videos for my wonderful audience. I'm going to write pieces that may, strike home with various people, may not, who knows. I'm going to continue interacting on social media, promoting other people's creative efforts and carrying on discussions about things we both enjoy. I'm going to keep listening to the awesome music artists, and I know my favorite, one of my favorite bands, Lordi, Finnish rock band, Lordi, should be having a new album coming soon because they dropped a single called Syntaxed Terror. Yeah, that's a tongue twister. I love their little punny names. Gonna keep supporting them. Gonna keep supporting other people because I value what other people create, and I value those in my life. And I wish to create things for them because they're real. I don't do anything for your magic sky daddy because that fucker doesn't exist. If they did and they wanted me to know about them, they would show me exactly what would convince me. But they choose not to. So, based on the idea that they're so perfect and know everything and can do anything, the only reason they don't is because they don't exist.
Some of you could produce some videos. I did a series of videos on...
Oh yeah, I produce plenty of videos, buddy.
Let's see. Oh, I got too many things on my desk here. This is proof the earth is millions of years old for you atheists here now. Okay. Let's see. A Genesis Bible study. Went through the whole book of Genesis. You can get that on our website.
If I was going to watch somebody go through Genesis, I'd rather watch R and Ra and cohorts do it. Much more entertaining. Much more charisma. And honestly, a sight better to look at.
All the videos, spent hours and hours and hours studying and producing a video. And you could, maybe you like to study something you could produce a video series on. They did one on.
And there are quite a few completely irrelevant to this discussion subjects that I would like to do videos on, and some people are asking for. So to my friends in the audience, stay tuned. Something will be coming.
Let's see, creation that destroys evolution, different kinds of animals and plants and things. There's no way this evolved. Aardvarks, the appendix, the amethyst, bacteria, beryllium, butterflies,
Beryllium. Okay.
broccoli, carbon, bears, backbones, went through the alphabet, celery, let's see, seahorses.
Celery. The artificial selection of wild mustard plants, if memory serve, that eventually brought about broccoli, celery. No, celery. Is celery related? I don't even know. Is it? Fuck, I can't remember, because I was thinking of like broccoli and related leafy veggies that have that particular vascular structure to them with that stalk. All branches of wild mustard, and I think celery's in there, I'm not sure, but either way.
God's amazing seahorses. Produce something with your life.
Yes, his obsession with seahorses. And I love seahorses. Like, I absolutely adore those creatures. But Kent, of course, adores them for a different reason, because of his obsession with animal reproduction, which is completely normal for a preacher to have.
I hate to see some of you that have such great talents in the middle of a war like what's going on, doing nothing. Look, there's a war going on here.
Yes, it's a war. Everything's got to be violence with you people. Or how about a bunch of people believe some ridiculous shit, and the rest of us moved on from Bronze Age fairy tales many, many, many decades ago at the latest.
If you're not going to shoot, pay for the bullets, take care of the wounded, do something. 2025 might be the last year we've got. We'll see. Don't know. If it's not, I'm going to do the same thing in 2026. Just keep plowing ahead, trying to produce something for the Lord. When I was put in prison for 9 years unjustly, I said, okay, Lord, what do
Ah, yeah, you got to slip the unjustly in there. You deserved your conviction, Ken, and honestly should have been in prison longer. Fuck you.
I do? I'm here. Well, half the Bible's written from prison. So I led 800 men to the Lord, wrote 37 books while I was in prison.
Yeah, I'm sure of the particular way you probably led them to the Lord, if you know what I mean, you sick fuck.
Led 4 times a day Bible studies in my cell. I made my world famous bookmarker. 8,000 of them, sent them out with letters and stuff like that. And earned 2 more doctorate degrees. Do something with your life. I hate to see people with such talents.
Okay, when I brought it up earlier, the wild mustard, or what have you, farmers have been breeding one plant called Brassica oleracea, dozens of varieties. 6 things you find. Yeah, wild mustard plant goes to kohlrabi, cauliflower, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, and kale. So that's pretty fucking cool. So celery must be definitely a different one, but still, you can understand where I'd get them mixed up. Okay, I apologize for being dumb. Let's move on. Please don't bring it up again.
Wasted on the dumbest things. I was hoping to get to play this. We can't figure out the audio, how to make the thing work.
Of course you can't figure out the audio, because you know jack diddly shit about tech. But of course throw your tech people under the bus. Almost want to call Joseph just to ask, what's been going on? What's the issue? Just being friendly, one tech-inclined person to another. I'm curious.
So you.
And the audio goes to shit right there because he fucks around with a switch.
I was hoping to get to play this. We can't figure out the audio, how to make the thing work here. So
plug
watch that
anyway.
on your own. Dr. William Lane Craig, great videos he produces. Okay, any questions or comments here, brother?
We got a few comments I'll bring up.
Okay. Yeah, this bottom layer is 28 million years old, and this one's 14 million. That one's so stupid.
And here we go. Right after he says the comment about can you play an instrument, I saw that this comment got put in there. So let's do it to it.
Someone on YouTube called Chris. Yeah, I've heard of this guy. Has taken an obsession with you.
It's not an obsession. It's just fun. There's a difference.
You must be an atheist, huh?
Oh yeah, he's an atheist. A lot of people are doing that. Uploading video on his channel, commenting on all your posts. I think it's time to whack him. I think I did whack him a couple times.
No, you didn't. You've referenced me a few times, which is kind of amusing. Wear it as a bit of a badge of honor, like, "Aw, I got under Kent's skin." But no, you haven't whacked me. Partially because I don't think you'd find too much meat on the videos, because they really go into you a particular way. And secondly, because I intentionally use language you might find objectionable. Because, well, just feel like it.
Nobody would watch him if he didn't mention my name.
Oh, of course, no one would watch you. You didn't mention my name, even though I have plenty of viewers. Kent, and you say this about AJ too. Here's the thing you need to understand. To make this very clear. You are, as internet lingo would apply to you, a lolcow. You have eccentric behaviors and a particular way of existing that is fascinating to people in all the wrong ways. People watch things related to you to see how crazy you will get. But it goes beyond that. Because if that was all it was, they could just watch your videos and see it. But no. What happens is, every lolcow has a community form around them. That, yes, that is sort of a central binding agent, if you will, to the lolcow concept, to the community. But values placed on the commentary given by various people in these communities. What they have to say in regards to the lolcow. Usually it's just documenting craziness, but in your particular case, people take interest in those who can dissect that kind of just what the fuckness that you exude. And that's why people enjoy me and watch the videos I do on you. Because they find value in me tearing your content apart. If it was true that people only watch content because of you, then the many, many channels who sadly do not get views, yet they cover you, including someone I just found recently who asked you a question in one of your Q&As, and you kind of scoffed it off as you do, they would be getting equal views, and they don't. People watch my content for me. Now, they may not be interested in one particular person versus another, because you do have a draw to you, but only by virtue of you being the lolcow you are. Other people are not as infamous, as it were. But no, people watch my content for me, and they honestly want me to do something other than cover your dumbass. And that's part of what my announcement is. While I'm not abandoning covering you, I am definitely going to diversify in 2025, which was always my plan. But this waste of space video that Kent made, like they all aren't wastes of digital space, that kind of cemented that this fucker doesn't even need the time of day anymore. 2025 is the year we figuratively bury Kent Hovind. We're going to finish up, though.
So I'll be glad to debate him. Tell him call 85.
And yes, it always boils down to debate. I'm glad to debate. I'm calling. Everyone knows your stupid number. Everyone knows you're up to debate. You'd debate a goddamn mouse if they called 855 Big Dino and scheduled one. It wouldn't matter to you. You think the entirety of reality is arbitrated by you on a fucking debate on YouTube. It's so fucking laughable, Kent. I would be laughing if it wasn't so ridiculously stupid. That's your go-to for everything. Need I remind you that you, upon first learning of my existence and my creation of content regarding you, asked Sergio to get in touch with me. And I'm still holding you to that. And by your declaration that you wish to debate me, an active declaration that you want it to happen, you must abide by my terms. Otherwise, TS, old man. And even if I was to call and schedule a debate, which I've contemplated for the sheer spectacle of it, I would still have quite a few conditions. And if you were to violate those, I would lift any self-imposed restrictions. And Donnie's going to have a real hard time with handling that.
5 Big Dino, what are you, extension 4?
Yep.
Okay, schedule a debate.
And why do I have to call Joseph to schedule? Can't I just contact Standing for Truth? Why do I gotta do that? Like I said, if I want to call extension 4 and catch on good old Joseph, I'm gonna call him and talk with him about the tech problems. I want to debate you. You sure want to debate me? Every time you say that, I'll debate him anytime. Every time you bring up debates is an indication that you are begging for a debate from somebody, that you want it. Because you get more value out of people than they get out of you. And that's not a compliment. That shows how pathetic you are and desperate you are for attention. I don't need attention from you. I don't need to use you for attention. I just happen to decide I'm gonna talk shit about Hovind. I enjoy the way AJ does it. I feel I have something to contribute. And I did that. And it resonated with people. Get over yourself. You're not special. You're not important. And when you're gone, the world will quickly forget you. And I hate to be mean, but that'll probably come way sooner than even you would think.
Time. Take them on. Okay, thank you. Store up treasures in heaven. Amen. God bless you, Iron Man. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. Okay.
Yeah, no questions tonight.
All right, well, good. Well, tomorrow night, Thursday and Friday, we're going to have open mic, let anybody call in anything you got. So we're going to start off the year right, stir up trouble. Can't do something, at least stir up trouble for the devil.
Yes, sir.
Once
again, it's one thing to have imaginary friends. It's another thing to have imaginary enemies.
Thank you so much. I'm not still 100%, so I'm going to go. I missed half my night's sleep last night. See if I can catch up on it. See you tomorrow. Bye.
And that ends that. And that may well end me bothering with Kent Hovind for at least a little while I work on other projects, other creative endeavors, and just try to enjoy myself. Still probably be some anti-creationist stuff. That other guy I've been following videos on, he seems to come up with new dumpster fires every couple of days, so I'll probably focus on him for a while, just to prove the point. Get fucked, Kent. That's all I have to say. Thanks to everyone else for watching. Later.